We wanted to spend 6 months a year abroad, celebrate endless summer, legally. So we investigated what it actually takes to do that. While traveling the world, 6 countries ended up on our shortlist. 6 very different answers. Some want your house, some want your paycheck, one wants $1 million and keeps it. This video will show you what is required in each of those countries to stay there longer than a typical holiday. We had a plan, not just a vacation, a life model. 6 months in Europe during winter, 6 months somewhere with sun, sport, warmth and enough infrastructure to keep working. What some people call an endless summer. The plan sounds reasonable, even simple. The execution has one major challenge most people tend to ignore or overlook. You have to be there legally, not as a tourist overstaying 90 days, as someone with an actual right to be in that country. And the moment you ask that question, you realize every country has a completely different answer to that challenge. So we did the research for us and for you, and our shortlist goes like this: Spain, Portugal, Greece, the UAE, the United States and South Africa. We as Germans can freely roam in Europe, but for the international audience I have included Euro countries and their requirements for non-European citizens. So let's hit it. Here's what we found. Let's start with the countries that want you to invest first. Greece, the golden visa. The entry requirement is a property purchase, a minimum of 400,000 euros in less visited regions, 800,000 euros in Athens, Mykonos or Santorini. Your money isn't lost, it's in a property you own, but it is locked in. You cannot sell until you hold citizenship or surrender the visa. And if the property market turns, you absorb the risk. The tax angle is real. Foreign pensions can be taxed at a flat 7%. For retirees with passive income, this can be genuinely attractive. For working nomads, it's a lot of capital to park. The UAE runs on similar logic. A property investment of around 500,000 euros qualifies you for a golden visa. The headline benefit: zero income tax. No personal income tax, full stop. What you get in return? A highly functional modern city. World-class infrastructure, residency without bureaucratic friction. Your application is processed within a couple of weeks. That is unprecedented. What you give up? A different cultural context. It's Dubai, clean, efficient, air-conditioned, a lifestyle that works perfectly for some people and feels completely wrong for others. Please note that I disregard the recent development in the Middle East on purpose. In the insurance world, this is called force majeure and does not invalidate the fact of the attractiveness of the UAE to many people. And then there is the United States, 2026 edition. The so-called gold card is not an investment. You don't buy a property. You don't purchase fund shares. You pay $1 million directly to the US Treasury. That money is gone. It's not an asset. It is an entry fee. So we moved on. The second tier works differently. No capital required, but you need to prove you earn enough to not become a burden. Spain's digital Nomad visa requires proof of at least 2,700 euros per month in gross income, roughly double the Spanish minimum wage. You apply at the Spanish consulate in your home country. Processing takes 2 to 4 months. The tax structure is the headline. Under the so-called Beckham law, if you work for a company outside Spain, you pay a flat 24% tax rate on your Spanish income for up to 6 years. Your foreign assets and foreign capital gains remain untaxed in Spain. For certain income profiles, that's a significant advantage. Spain is also expensive by European standards, but the trade-off between tax benefit and cost of living is worth calculating carefully. Portugal offers two routes. The DA Digital Nomad visa requires approximately €3,300 per month in income, no investment, a direct path to EU residency and eventually to one of the most accessible passports in the world. The Golden Visa route in Portugal now runs exclusively through investment funds, minimum €500,000 in qualified funds, typically venture capital or technology. Unlike property, this carries market risk. Your capital is neither liquid nor guaranteed. No specific tax benefit beyond standard NHR requirements, which have themselves been reformed in recent years. And then there's South Africa. The remote work visa, formerly under Sections 11L, requires proof of a gross annual income of at least 650,000 rand. This is €35,000 per year, depending on the exchange rate. That's income from an employer or client outside South Africa. You also need recognized international health insurance and a clean police record. No property purchase, no investment fund, no entry fee. On tax, if you stay under 183 days, you remain fully outside the South African tax system. Your home country's rules apply and double taxation agreements handle the rest. Staying longer means registering with SRS, but the agreements usually prevent you from being taxed twice. In the next video, I will explain all the visa options of South Africa in detail, but for now, please note, the remote work visa currently does not lead to permanent residency on its own. If long-term settlement is the goal, you should look at other routes. Here I summarize all the above in one table. Numbers don't make a decision, people do. We were in Sedgefield, a small town on the garden route, when it clicked. Morning, we walked to where the river meets the sea. Somewhere in that moment, we both understood this could be our life, not a vacation. 6 months a year, farmer's market, outdoor dinners, living with the sun. Lifestyle was half of the decision. The legal half had already been answered by that research. But there's a moment that stays with me more than any spreadsheet. It came through Monica from Around About Cars, a professional contact that through the kind of coincidence South Africa seems to specialize in, became something more personal. She introduced us to her surf instructor in Muizenberg. I should explain. I lived in Santa Monica in 2005 and 6, and every morning I jogged along the beach past the surfers, and I thought, that looks cool. Then I went back to my life. 20 years later, I was finally on a surfboard. The instructor didn't give me a technical briefing, no theory about wave timing or foot positioning. He said, and I quote, "You don't surf to achieve something. You surf to love with your heart. And you stop immediately the moment you are not smiling anymore." I stood on 16 waves that day, went again to complete 31. According to the guru, I still owe Muizenberg 69 more. So, what's the answer to the original question? If you want to live somewhere legally, not just a vacation, for 3 to 6 months a year, the options are clearer than they look. If you have capital and want to park it in an asset, Greece or the UAE. If you want zero income tax and have the right profile, the UAE or Spain's Beckham law. If you want simplicity, South Africa's remote work visa. Income threshold, health insurance, clean record. That's the list. For us, the combination of factors was clear. The legal framework was accessible, the cost of living stretched every euro further than anywhere else on this list, and the weather and the outdoor life matched exactly what we were looking for. And the plan B, a property in South Africa, handles the long-term side, not as a visa instrument, as an investment in a life model. Our endless summer. 6 months here, 6 months there. Some people dream about it, most don't take the step. The legal path exists, we've shown you what it looks like. I'm still 69 waves short of finishing what Muizenberg started. Which country from this list would you choose and what's stopping you from taking that step? Drop it below, we read every comment.